When I was 16, I went scuba diving off the coast of Florida using a canoe. Let's get into it. It's story time. This all began when I was 16 years old and took a trip to Florida and met up with some people. One of the guys said, "Hey, would you be interested in going scuba diving with us tomorrow?" And I'm like, "I've never been scuba diving before. Don't you have to have a license for that?" He was like, "You'll be fine." I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." So I'm going to crash there the night before. He's got a hot tub, and he gets a tank out and a regulator and has me get in the hot tub, hands me the regulator and a mask, and said, "Just go underwater and get used to it." So I sat there practicing putting my face in the water for like a half an hour. I'm breathing this tank full of air underneath the hot tub water. So I'm like, "Yeah, seems like I got it. I don't know." He's like, "You got it. You're good. If you can do that, you can do any of it." So I'm like, "Fine, let's do it." The next morning, we load up all of the gear into the back of his SUV, and then we help him get a canoe, a hard bottom canoe, on top of the car. We strap it all down, and off to the beach we go. I have no idea what to expect, but in my mind, I'm trying to solve the challenges I think that might be ahead, and that is the waves coming in. That's got to be a problem, right? I don't know. We get there, we unload all of the gear. We drag this canoe full of scuba gear across the sand to the water, which is just like I imagined it. Waves, lots of waves coming in. So he's looking and assessing the situation, and he says, "We just have to get past that break point." The break point. You know, the far out place where the land is a little higher. The bottom is a little higher than the rest of the ocean. So when the water comes in, it catches the break point and causes the waves to curl and come in. He wants to go out that far. Get past that. I'm like, "You know what you're doing." So we're pushing the canoe in the water. Then he stops and he says, "The hardest thing to get on while you're in the water." Don't you see the plan? He's going to have us put all of our gear on for the first time in my life as I'm in the water. I'm like, does anybody else see this as a problem? Because it definitely looks like a problem for me. But I keep pushing on like this guy must know what he's talking about. So he says the hardest piece of gear to get on while you're in the water is your weight belt. So let's everybody put on a weight belt to make you heavier. I'm like, okay, again, I snap the weight belt on. This weight belt is just a belt, and it has these like lead weights shoved into these pockets all the way around the belt. Put it on. Then we start walking the canoe into the water. The waves are already a factor, and we're only in knee-deep water. We keep going. Now we're in waist-deep water. The waves are still factoring this journey. So we then get to the point where we can't touch, and we're holding the canoe. So we're going to swim this canoe like this. We're going to swim it out past the break point. So I'm just going along with this, swimming, holding. You can't let go of the canoe because you're wearing a weight belt. So we're swimming this canoe, and the waves are still rolling in. Now we're swimming up the wave, and we're crashing down the other, and the canoe is like starting to slam, like it's getting really tough. And I'm keep checking the face of this guy to see how are we doing. So he starts to look pretty concerned. He starts to look like there's a problem. So he says, "Hey guys, now keep in mind we are pretty far out, but we are still not to the break point. We're just pretty far out." He says, "Hey guys, I think we should go back. These waves are bigger than I realized, and this is tough. We need to go back." Again, I just agree. So he decides, in his panic state of mind, the place that he arrived is that he's brought some 16-year-old kid who's never done this before with him on this trip, and he's got to get me back because he doesn't even know how well I swim. So he decides to turn the canoe around. The canoe that's pointed, tapered on both ends, that can go this way or that way, that's the canoe we're talking about. He wanted to turn it around so we could swim back to the beach. So, again, I agreed. I should have challenged something. I imagine that would have been wise because I didn't think that was a good idea. And sure enough, as we get the canoe sideways, the waves are coming in, and like you would imagine, smacking the side of that canoe, it's everything we can do to hold on. Finally, a wave, big enough, comes in, crashes against the side of the canoe, and then flips the whole canoe upside down with all of that scuba gear in it. Now, when it did that, it also hit me, and it washed me away from the canoe. And the wave then crashed down on me, and I'm wearing a weight belt. It smacked me deep into the water, and I feel like my world just got flipped upside down. What am I going to do? I've got to just start swimming. I didn't even know what direction I should be going or anything. I just started swimming, but I was swimming underwater because I couldn't get to the top for some reason. And I'm like, why is it so hard to swim? I'm a pretty good swimmer. Why is it so hard? Because I forgot. Weight belt is still around my waist, and I can't get up there. And I'm swimming and swimming. Like, that's the hardest swim I've ever had to make. and I'm going and going and going. And I remember at a certain point that I had been holding my breath for so long that I felt like it was going to be involuntary. I felt like there was going to be nothing I could do. I can't get to the top, and I can't hold my breath anymore. And I felt like what I was going to do is just gasp. I thought in my mind that that's what I was going to do, that I would just be gasping in water, that I'd ultimately just be kind of giving up. I'm so tired, and I can't hold my breath anymore. And just about that point, okay, it's funny how life works out. Just about the point where I feel like I'm ready to give up, my hand hit sand. And I was like, oh, that was it for me. And I pushed off the sand, and I came up, got a little air, went back down, gave me the motivation I needed to keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Come on. I finally made it to where now I'm in shallow enough water that I feel air on my back, and my head is up, and I just crawled and there was a line of people all on this beach. They were going to form a human rope to find me. They were all scouring the water, waiting for me to come up. They thought that I had drowned. And then when I come up and I'm crawling, they all come running over to me. And I just collapse onto the beach, and I'm just like, ah. And they were like, dude, We thought you were dead. We thought you were a goner." The lifeguard was like, "We couldn't find you. We couldn't, like, you went under and you didn't come back up." And I'm like, "I know. It was so hard to swim." And that's when the lifeguard said, "Why are you still wearing that weight belt?" I was like, "Oh no. Oh, it has a quick release on it too. It just comes right off. I could have just popped that thing and been good to go. Instead, I didn't know what I was doing." The other two guys, they stayed with the boat somehow. When it flipped upside down, they hung on, and so they swam the canoe on back. And all of the gear, he thought, "Man, I just lost all this gear." But it turns out within a 24-hour period, like 90%, 98% of his gear, he only was missing a couple things. It all washed up onto the beach. And he hung out at the beach until it all washed up and recovered all of his gear. So nobody died. I guess we're good to go. And that is how I lost my foot. I'll see you on the next story.